You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. Was she a yacht girl? Part 4. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, undertaking a forensic examination of the circumstances and evidence that may support the proposition that Harry's wife engaged in the behaviour of a yacht girl. I'm inviting you also to determine the veracity of the evidence that I've put forward to you, so you can make your own determinations about what is going on. We now examine evidence put forward by Kirby Summers, someone who's been quoted on numerous occasions. In a tweet, she wrote, Harry's wife receiving an invitation to be Adam's yacht girl on February the 18th, 2016. In the same year, she meets with Prince Harry in the same way, for money. She shows beneath the exchange, which I've referred to you in the earlier part, and Kirby Summers makes it very clear that she regards Harry's wife as a yacht girl. Makes that assertion. There's also somebody called Aware One who replies saying, here is backup. Harry's wife's yachting days, the photos of her yacht trip to Croatia, which she wrote about on her blog, which I've just touched on in the preceding part. Bold assertion there from Kirby Summers to describe her as a yacht girl, and as far as I am aware, Kirby Summers has not faced any litigation in order to correct that position. She then continues with this in another tweet, where, supplying photographs, states, bombshell drop, remember when Prince Andrew accompanied Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell to Thailand in 2001? No doubt everyone now recognises Marcus Anderson as the man Andrew was engaged conversing with in these photos. Thus drawing the connection between Marcus Anderson, the close associate and friend of Harry's wife, and the involvement with Prince Andrew. See parts passim about the suggestion that there was a relationship between Harry's wife and also Prince Andrew. There is then a third tweet from Kirby Summers. She writes, one last time. Harry's wife is cunning. Yes. She was a yacht girl. Yes. She even had a member of the royal family before Harry. But what is happening is controlled by intelligence, not Harry's wife. She's controlled by the same forces that control Jeffrey Epstein. Now Kirby Summers hinting at some other force operating in the background. We don't need to address that here. But once again, she makes the assertion that Harry's wife was a yacht girl, an assertion that hasn't found itself subjected to any challenge. Now again, it might be the case that Harry's wife has just decided that she would, in effect, rise above it. But this has been quoted furthermore in other publications. So, for example, Kirby Summers, who's described as the crusading author of Ghislaine Maxwell, an authorised biography, she examined the connections between Harry's wife, Prince Andrew, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell. She effectively suggested that Harry's wife's mate, Marcus Anderson of Soho House, is a connector going back as far as 2001. Summers argues the mainstream media may have a photo of her on a yacht in Thailand cavorting with Prince Andrew at the behest of the mucky Madam Maxwell and the since-croaked paedophile Epstein. Going further, the author also provides evidence of Harry's wife having been invited to the Yacht Week 2016 in Croatia by an individual named Adam Haun, founded by William Wenkel in 2006 and described as Sodom and Gomorrah at sea by GQ in 2015. It's unknown whether the then actress attended the hedonistic Tinder at Sea event that one participant, Sweet Home Alabama dating show Bachelor Tribble Reese, lauded as like the Bahamas on steroids. Thus, Kirby Summers very much regards Harry's wife as being a yacht girl and has asserted it several times without, it would appear, repercussion. Further evidence exists with regard to the closeness of the connection between Harry's wife and Marcus Anderson. This has been touched upon by Kirby Summers, and also from Christopher Jones. We know from repeated press reports that Marcus Anderson and Harry's wife are very close. That cannot be denied. And it also demonstrates that Anderson has connections with Prince Andrew. And he has a reputation as a connector. So it wouldn't be too difficult to form the view that with regard to Anderson, he may have played an integral role in enabling Harry's wife to facilitate a position as a yacht girl, allowing her access to money, networks, influence, and power. Beyond her connection to Anderson, of course, there are repeated photographs that show Harry's wife on yachts. Now, it may well be the case that she's just there enjoying a bit of a holiday, and there's nothing more sinister to it. But when you put it in aggregate, it shows that she frequently did appear on yachts, that she was with other women on those yachts, and it does start to raise the question as to what was she actually doing there when viewed in the context that I have placed it all. Now, suffice to say, and importantly to do so, there exists no smoking gun whatsoever showing her that she had sex with someone on a yacht for money. There is no evidence of that. Nobody has confirmed that they paid her for sex on a yacht. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. It's unlikely that somebody would come forward and admit to that. It's unlikely that any footage, if it did exist, would be put forward. Nevertheless, there is repeated evidence that she has been on yachts, that she's been in the company of men, that there are people that say that she's a yacht girl, that there is evidence of people asking her to go for Yacht Week, that there are people who confirm that they know for a fact that she's a yacht girl, and they haven't found themselves subject to litigation suggesting that that is defamatory commentary about her. There is considerable supportive evidence that suggests that she had a connection to that particular world. She operated in a world from which yacht girls are regularly recruited. Naturally, that does not mean that it's automatic that she would be one, but it shows that there was the opening for this and opportunity. Secondly, as a narcissist, as I've explained, the yacht girl life would prove attractive to her as a somatic narcissist and enable her to achieve the prime aims. Thirdly, there is the repeated evidence that I've taken you through, which has been unchallenged, that supports that she is one. The conclusion, therefore, is that on the balance of probabilities, she was indeed a yacht girl. Now, what does that mean for her, and what does that mean for Harry? Well, at the time that she was engaging in it, it wasn't an issue for her because it allowed her to control the relevant people, draw fuel from them, and provided her with access to influence, network, and most importantly of all, money. We don't have a precise timescale for when it was occurring, but it does look like it was pre-Harry, perhaps somewhere between 2010 and 2016. She was an actress at the time, was involved in Suits, but wasn't famous at all, and therefore it would be quite easy for her to keep a lid on what she was doing, because the men that she was presumably engaging with would have no idea that she was an actress. They were unlikely to have seen her in Suits. Therefore, it was highly unlikely that news of what she had been doing would present a problem for her. However, once she became involved with Prince Harry, this past was problematic, and any suggestion of the same would be a threat to control, which necessitated the removal of evidence to the extent that she was able to do so. It's likely that she told Harry that she had been involved in liaisons. I doubt that she will have described it as precisely what it was, but rather would have alluded to it perhaps being embarrassing because she was often seen in the company of certain men, which then resulted in people spreading unpleasant and harmful gossip about her. She would have likely spun it to Harry as saying, you know the way the tabloids have been about me, you know the way the racist British press has spoken about me, and therefore in the circumstances I'm very concerned that they will take the fact that I enjoyed the company of men, and that was all it was, their company, on yachts, and suggest it was something else. I very much doubt that she sat down with him and said, look, old ginger bollocks, you need to know the fact that I was whoring myself out on yachts and I'm worried that it's going to bite my arse. Instead, she will have spun it as if that would be the inference that people would make from it, and that would be harmful. And of course, Harry, being in love with her and wanting to protect her and exhibiting his own empathic traits towards her, would want to do something about it. And therefore, it will have been put in motion thereafter, appropriate steps to ensure that as much evidence as possible was removed to prevent her from being outed as a yacht girl. The conclusion is, on the balance of probabilities, that she did engage in this behaviour. And, of course, at the time, it was what she needed to do. Fair enough. But, of course, for someone joining the royal family, such a reputation is problematic. And it might be the case that certain members of the royal family found out that what she was actually doing and perhaps expressed disapproval. But headstrong ginger bollocks didn't accept that and say, no, it wasn't like that. That's the way that people are trying to portray it. She was just friends with these people, kept them company. That was all. She was a struggling actress. She accepted some money, but there wasn't any sexual shenanigans. You might think that that's naive of ginger bollocks, but remember, many people who are caught in the ensnarement of a narcissist believe everything that narcissist tells them because the narcissist is so convincing and, as a consequence of their own emotional thinking, causing them to lose sight of logic. Thus she spins it by way of pity play. Please help me, Harry. I don't want this to spoil what we've got. And thus he willingly puts in place the appropriate action to ensure that she's protected as much as possible. But, as we have seen, it was not enough. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.